You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Chasing Maria Menounos After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Chasing Maria Menounos After Show.
Apparently this is what we're supposed to be doing based on Pat.
Yeah, I know. What was that? Oh, it was this. Awesomeness. Hey, what's up, everybody? Susie Castillo here from Oxygen, and I'm so excited to be here to talk about Chasing Maria episode 3. It's called A Nice Greek Boy.
Yes.
Did I say it correctly?
Just like him.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I'm excited to be here hosting with you guys. To my right, I have...
Hi, I'm Roxy Stryer.
DJ Jesse.
Steph Bauer.
And Jessica King.
Yay! So what did y'all think? Well, first of all, we have some exciting news.
Yes.
Congratulations! Kevin and Maria are having a baby!
Huge news!
Congratulations.
Costas is going to be pissed, by the way, because he is not turned Greek yet.
Yeah.
They haven't got married. They're doing it backwards, and now she's pregnant.
And this is seriously like worthy of disowning again, I think.
It really
Maybe.
is.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years this time.
But the baby will warm his heart. So
Yeah.
But at
maybe
least the baby will be Greek Orthodox.
Yeah. And the baby
Half
will
Greek
have
Orthodox, half Catholic.
and the baby will have a birthday of April 1st.
Which is like kind of like April Fool's, I think.
Suckers! Just kidding, just kidding. Aw,
We
my
wish
goodness.
one day.
Well, let us, shall we start whispering?
We should whisper for this segment.
One of the first things I want to start talking about is, of course, Maria's throat. Mm-hmm.
It's an important part.
It's an important thing. It's
Kevin would think so for sure, yeah.
Oh, child.
Did you guys even catch the doctor's dirty comment?
What did he say?
I hope it was dirty, and I'm not the only one that took it to
I hope
dirty.
it was dirty.
I'm sure it was Steph.
I must have missed it.
He's like, we gotta stick this thing down your throat, and Maria's like, how big is it? And he's like, not any bigger than you.
They're not as big as what you're used to.
No, I didn't take that as a dirty joke. I mean, she's on Extra. She's with these guys with like
She has stuff in her
cameras.
mouth.
Big stuff.
She was.
Okay.
You're better than that.
No. Okay, it was an old man. Like, I really just thought he was
Old
thinking.
men could be
He
dirty.
was talking about it going down her throat.
He was talking about a
the size of the
camera.
cameras. Oh, thank you.
But you know what? It would have been hilarious had
It-
the cameras cut to Kevin and he'd be like, "That's
I
what she
know.
said."
That's right, Doc. Don't you forget it.
To forget that shit.
Everyone excuse Stephanie Bauer's mind. She just can't
Totally
handle
with
this.
her. No.
Thank you.
Just so you know, you guys are in the minority right now. We totally all three are on the same page.
All three of us.
That's fine.
Hilarious. But you know, I mean, we're all hosts here. Our tools are our voices, and so I mean, what do you guys think? I think
Yeah, well, I have 7 nodules, so I'm very familiar with this. I've been having all of these cameras down my throat since I was young. You guys can hear it in my raspy
Is
voice.
that what I was supposed to say? Is that why your
That's
voice
why
is
I'm
like
so
sexy,
raspy. So it happens all the time, and I'll go to film something, and it's like I literally wake up and I'm like, I'm on mute. You really can't hear me, and you either push through or you don't. And if you don't have time to rest it, then you push through.
Well,
and it
weren't you
damages your voice
saying
well.
during when we were watching that it's pretty painful?
It's incredibly painful. First of all, they numb your entire throat and nose, but it's a very uncomfortable feeling, and the actual nodules are painful. It feels like they're describing tonight's episode like calluses, and it almost sometimes you can feel like they're bleeding. You know, you feel them rubbing together, and it really disrupts the way you can speak and the way you can breathe, everything. So it's hard. It is
And
hard.
here I've just been envious of your sexy raspy.
I know. I was like, I
know.
hope I get sick and sound like Rocky.
I know.
It's not so sexy when you think about it, though.
Okay, good to know.
Not the way you just described it.
I know, maybe I should have kept that to
My
myself.
bleeding calluses. Jeez.
sounds so hot. Sounds so sexy.
I know.
Did you like push through the way, because Maria only has one, so
Yeah. And
Sick.
If you push through, is this what Maria's future? Like, is that a possibility for her?
I mean, they talk about how she's going to have to get surgery if she keeps going. It's because you're going to develop so many. Your vocal cords, they go like this. They're supposed to go together. And when you have so many, they can't do that. And instead, they bang together and they bump and they create more. So once you have one callus, it's easy to develop more if you don't rest it. One is easier to take care of. Obviously, the more you have, the bigger an issue it's going to be, which is why if she doesn't protect it now, she's going to be screwed.
Right.
So I don't know exactly how it's going to go or how she will rest it because as we see, she has no time.
Right.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, and she's right. Kevin's right. He said her voice is her moneymaker, and you'd automatically assume, oh, her face is her moneymaker. But if you think about it, she can like narrate off camera. Like if she got like a black eye or something, she could be off camera and narrate. But she can't just stand on camera and look pretty. She has to talk.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So her voice literally is her moneymaker.
And in a situation like that, it's so hard. Like, she even mentioned that she was being irresponsible with her voice. But it's like, the only thing I can compare it to is when I'm sick. And I always lose my voice at the worst time, like when I need it the most. And so it's like, I'm not going to walk around being like, hi guys. Like, I'm going to be screaming, and that's just, it is what it is. So it's like, when you're at a parade like that, like, you're going to take advantage of.
She's worked so hard in her career to get to this point where she's able to do all of these things that it seems so silly that something like her voice would be the thing holding her back. You know, she's overcome all of these obstacles. So I can believe, because I feel the frustration all of the time, if that's what's holding you back, it's like that seems like something that you should be able to fix. But if you don't take care of your health, even something like that, it really can get out of control.
It's funny. I had a bunch of friends when I lived in New York who were doing Broadway, and their lives, I mean, their voice is their life.
Of course.
They weren't doing anything. They're like Maria is out. See, this girl has like how many networks that she's running, working for other networks, you know, dealing with her family and all this stress.
Gay pride parades.
And, and then to compare it, you know, to the people who have these set jobs on Broadway, who are working 6 days a week, only 3 shows. As soon as they're done, they go home, they wrap themselves up, they're drinking hot tea.
That's their
and
job.
they don't
and they're like
speak.
in pods. Yeah, they're weirdos.
Celine Dion does that.
Yep.
She doesn't talk for like 3 days or something.
Right.
And they literally don't speak. You write to your husband on a piece of paper, and Maria can't do that.
Of course. Even if you guys ever saw Justin Bieber's movie, he has the same thing, and he has to cancel his tour. I mean, it happens to...
Never say never.
I know, it's a ridiculous comparison, but it happens to artists all the time. And Maria, she isn't able to peapod herself or whatever. You know, she isn't able to do that. She's also a very fun person. So she gets excited about things, and she wants to go out and have a beer with a friend, and she wants to go and talk to her family and play games and do whatever it is. So it is a big setback for her.
But it's all work, and she's got all this added pressure that she has to take care of everybody. Right. So when you have all of that pressure on you, can you afford to take a day off?
And doesn't it, I feel like that pressure adds extra stress. Because
Probably,
I know how much stress in my life already. I'd just be like, I can't, so I can
You're
imagine.
going to go have your tea and be in your pod after this. And we're done.
So I'm just stressed doing this damn show.
It's a really good point, though, because when you stress, you actually tense. And when you tense, you tighten your vocal cords. And when your vocal cords are tighter, they're banging together harder. So it's all... And everybody's drinking water right now. I know. Keep it wet and moist, because otherwise you're going to get calluses. Vocal nodules. Dr. Roxy over here.
The nodule doctor.
The nodule doctor. Yeah. I wish I wasn't
Speaking of, and I can't believe she went to Gay Pride and was screaming.
I know.
I mean, you've got a mic.
Okay,
She had a mic.
That mic did not work very well.
Oh, it didn't?
Oh, you were there, Jesse.
No, I mean, it was a mic, it worked, but I mean, she was
like a
screaming.
blowhorn intercom.
Well, it's so loud there that even on the mic, you have to be heard, so she has to scream over everybody's voice.
There's so many people there.
You're on the biggest float of all of the floats.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're around gay people, so you're gonna be happy, you're gonna be screaming, and that's what she was doing. And
Right.
I just feel like she doesn't ever want to let anybody down. Like, she doesn't have the word no in her vocabulary, because the smart thing would have been not to do Gay Pride, but she wasn't going to do that.
Right.
She
She's
didn't
like,
wanna
I
let them
can't
down.
rest.
Yeah.
Like, it's like go, go, go. all the
Somebody
time.
should have gotten her a
Megaphone?
A megaphone.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would have worked.
You think better?
Next
Better
time.
than a mic.
You know, I mean,
I don't know if
we're
I
gonna keep
definitely
you
blame
around.
Pat for this. We know Pat would never let Maria off for not going to Gay Pride.
Oh, yeah. Right. Assistant Pat over
But
here.
I mean, honestly, even in the kitchen, the pressure she must have been feeling, because Kevin's there, mom and dad are there, all in the kitchen saying, don't go, don't go. But it's easier said than done. She doesn't
Well, he
want to let
said
anybody
something's
down.
got to give. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But she
Well,
doesn't
and you know, like you were saying, it's like she was worked so hard her entire life to be where she is today, and to be invited to Gay Pride, to be the Grand Marshal for, to events like that. And like, you don't want to say no to that stuff
when that's what you worked your whole life for. And you're like, well, this is so silly. I feel fine other than my voice. It's not like I have the flu. It's not, nobody really understands when you say, well, I can't show up because I have a nodule. Right. What do you mean?
I have a bloody callus. Well, she even mentioned, like, she hates, now that the nodule doctor.
With 5 nodules, then you've done one.
Exactly. That's not
my vocal cords are going like this.
No, but nobody gets that. It's not a valid excuse. So what was she supposed to say after she already agreed to do it? I'm sorry, my voice hurts. No.
Well, she even said that she hates missing opportunities. She's like, Dance with the Stars, done. Wrestling, done. Gay Pride, done. Like,
you don't know when you're gonna get the invite again. You know, it's like you just have to say yes and do it.
It's also such an honor to be able to be the Grand Marshal of the Gay Pride Parade. That's huge, you know? I mean, it's just such a big thing that, like you're saying, you don't know when you're gonna get that opportunity again. If you turn that down, you're definitely not gonna be offered it again. So it's just, when it comes into your lap, you gotta kind of run with it.
Right. Jesse, how was it there? Like, what didn't we see? Was it just like crazy? I mean, we saw Kevin dancing a little behind the scenes.
Lisa and Costa, they were dancing. We had these like. I don't know if they were like to spank, walk up to people and spank.
Oh,
it was fun.
Like
it was
a whip. Like a
no, it was like a little like paddle.
What's like a little paddle?
Noisemaker?
No,
a paddle.
It makes noise when you smack it. But I'm just saying,
I love that.
So they had that. And then I told y'all, when I was younger, I thought I was like the 4th member of the Pointer Sisters. They performed, and that was like an epic moment.
Major
for me.
day.
And what's his name? I saw. What's his name from Scandal?
Columbus. Or
no, Huck.
Ooh.
I never knew he was gay.
Okay.
Wait, is he though? I mean, just because he went to the...
Oh, he was trying to holler, and I was like,
no. Okay, you're like, Huck, back off.
Oh no, Huck. Hey.
I know.
I was too nervous that day, but
that's like a nice little plug for our Scandal After Show too. But I am curious. So since Lisa and Costas are so old school, are they very accepting of the Gay Pride Parade? I mean, I know this is so different, but what were they like there?
That was weird for me because I didn't get to have that conversation, and it was weird for me because I know I'm out, but I'm not like out to my family. Like, it's not like I've gone home and made like a speech to anyone. But to see Costa and Lisa, and I know they talk about more in this episode and how much they've grown. And I remember Kevin had a really serious sit-down conversation with me where he wanted Costa to come talk to my family, and I was kind of nervous about it. I was nervous about going to this because I was like, oh well, if they catch me in any of the videos, Diana Ross, I'm coming up.
Seriously.
But they were having fun. They were having a good time. Like,
everyone was having, oh my God, how can you not?
It's impossible not to.
It's so much fun. Love us some WeHo. Speaking of Kevin, he's in the building.
Hey.
Kevin's
in the building.
The man of the hour.
Kevin. It is Here he is.
Right off the TV screens, right onto our couch.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
That's a little low energy hello from Kevin.
He's still worried.
We just did Adam Carolla, so I'm like a little,
long day.
It's a long day.
Wait, was Maria on Adam Carolla with you?
We just did Carolla, yeah.
Was she drunk? Did she say anything about your mom?
No, we didn't. No, nothing. No, it was weird because he. I don't know why it seemed like there was less staff there today, so we didn't have the usual.
No mangria.
Oh, man. That may have been a good thing.
Yeah.
Susie, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You look, every time I see you, you look different. So I loved the old hairstyle. The old new hairstyle was amazing.
Oh, thank you.
But now I love the new one.
Didn't you have short curly hair?
It's stuff.
I love this.
This is what this is called. I was lazy today, and I didn't want to actually
but I love it.
Teach me how to be lazy.
I was
lazy look.
I just flat ironed it.
No,
you gave some volume today.
Looks amazing.
Do that.
Susie, fellow Massachusetts person.
That's right.
Baby Maria Menounos.
Aww.
Couple years younger than Maria, right? We've known you since the pageant days.
A long time. Were you there the day that I met Maria it was what, 1998?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Was that for Miss Teen?
So Maria was Miss Massachusetts Teen USA in 1996, and I was Miss Massachusetts Teen USA in 1998, and Maria was at the pageant the year that I won. So I have this great
Congratulations.
photo. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I have this great photo of the two of us at that pageant when we met. It was so much
But Susie, you won the whole kit and caboodle, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I went to Endicott College in Beverly, Mass.
Right.
After I came back from Teen USA, didn't win Teen USA and was devastated, and went to college, graduated, and then did Miss Massachusetts USA, and I won Miss Massachusetts USA, and then I went to Miss USA, and I became the second Miss USA to win, or the second Miss Massachusetts USA to win.
Who was the other one?
Shawnee Jebbia, who wasn't really from Massachusetts.
Okay, I didn't know the whole
She
story.
was like from
So
Florida.
technically, you're the first.
Oh, yeah, so you are.
Sort of.
Maria and I when we started dating, she did Miss Mass,
Okay.
the big girl
I was
one.
there.
The big girl one.
I was there.
And she was very distracted because we were working on our movie together. And at that point, she was like, I want to be a producer. I don't want to do this anymore. And her mind just wasn't in it. And, you know, when she lost,
She should have won.
I remember, yeah, you know what,
I was
though?
there.
But I tell you, but when she came off the stage, and she tells this story all the time, but I just, she looked at me like, you know, like, what, you know, what, you have all the answers, like, what now? And I was like, I just said, Maria, this is honestly, I've been dying to say this to you, but this is the best thing that happened to you. Now, that would have taken a year of your life, and the chances of you going on as you did, Susie, and maybe the one or two other girls that have come out of this in a great way, it's not a slam dunk. I said, you know, I have real stuff in LA for you to do. This is a distraction. Now that this is over, thank God. And then I got Channel 1 and then ET, and the rest was history.
Right.
But had she won that pageant, none of that would have happened. And that's why I always tell people, you know, rejection is protection, and losses in life are good things, you know, and
Absolutely.
if we all got what we wanted, we'd be with our 7th grade crush. Yeah. You know what I mean? In life, like,
So true.
you're not supposed to. And so when you get those, you know, I think Maria wrote about it in her book too, but you embrace those losses because they make you who you are. And, you know, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, has another plan for you. And if you don't cut corners and you don't screw people over and do all the other, like, sleazy things, or sedate your problems with alcohol, drugs, or whatever,
Or have sex with your boss, or
have
whatever.
sex with your boss, or whatever it's going to be,
Oh.
you know, good things will come. It will come. And then sometimes, you know, I have so many stories in Hollywood where it's just people are so obsessed with making it, and I'm like, it's not your time. Your time's going to come, but right now it's not your time. It's okay, relax. Just keep working hard, make smart choices, but it's gonna happen. Chris Hardwick was a guy that I worked with when I was head writer at Singled Out, and at the time, Carmen Electra and Jenny McCarthy were exploding. And I said, Chris, you have such a brain that I've never seen before. You're so lightning-witted. You're so smart. And I don't know if it's stand-up, if it's acting in sitcoms. We didn't know what it was. And usually I'm good at telling people, like, no, you got to do this. And I didn't know what it was. I said, but Chris, it's not coming to me, but I'm telling you, there's something so much bigger for you out there. You just have to hang in. Let the girls have their time now. It's their time now. It's not your time right now, but your time's coming. And now if you look at, you know, Jenny's probably got 1 million Twitter followers. Obviously, she's very successful. And Carmen, you know, she's a pop icon. But Chris has 2 million followers with the Nerdist Network, and, you know, he's poised for the next 30 years.
Yeah.
But who would have
Killing
known?
it on AMC.
Killing it. And it all had to catch up to
Yeah.
him. It all had to be the right time.
Yeah,
you know,
Kevin, I
so.
think that on top of what you're just saying about it being the right time, we were talking the other day, and I thought you had this amazing point about people who come to you and they ask your advice in the business, and then you say, well, what do you want to do? And they say, well, I want to rule the world. And you say, has anybody ever said that and been a good person? Think about the people who have said that
who
before.
the hell, right.
said that, you know? And I thought that was a really
Okay.
cool point. And I'm thinking about
Hitler,
Yeah.
Castro. I mean, like, you know,
right.
this is who you aspire to be.
Mussolini.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is who
Right.
you
The
The
aspire to
brain
be.
from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah.
along with it being your time, you also have to have your goal of what you actually want to do. And then you always talk about, you know, digging the tunnel and getting there. And I feel like because of where you are in your career and Maria in your career, it's all because of that. You know, you never looked at it and said, I want to rule the world.
No,
And
never.
you
Still
just took-
don't.
Yeah.
Still don't. You know, but I will say, what you want to do is you want to work hard enough and you want to diversify your career like any kind of investing. I always say you want money in the bank, you want money in real estate, money in stocks, because if one of those entities goes or two of them goes, you have the other one. So, with you, Susie, it's hosting, it's books, it's clothing, all the stuff that's going to come for you. You do all that stuff, so if one thing goes down, you have the other thing. But it's not really to rule the world, it's to have autonomy and freedom. And to be treated like you're supposed to be treated, because unfortunately it's not a nice world and our business is not a nice business, and a lot of people aren't going to treat you like you would treat them. And so you need this stuff, because then all of a sudden they give you that respect, or you get that freedom, or you have that power to say, you know what, I just don't really need this grief anymore. I'm good. I'm gonna go. Adam Carolla doing his show tonight, and he's got his garage, and now he's built this podcast empire, and he just shit talked like 20 different major companies in our business, and he did it because he's like, I don't care. I never need to go for them for a job. I never need to ask anything for anything, because he's got autonomy. So you want to. It's not that the people who want to rule the world, and gross people. I don't want to be friends with them. I don't want to be around them, and I don't want any of the AfterBuzzers who we're grooming here to go be, I think, good statesmen, good citizens of the business. I don't want to see that. I don't want them to say. I don't want that to be the takeaway. But the takeaway is, if you work hard, and you don't cut those corners, like I said, and you are smart, you make smart choices, then you have the power, and the power is not to rule with an iron fist. The power is to give you the freedom to be creative, to do your dreams. Like, hey, I want to go work, I want to build a charity. Well, now you can, because you have the name and the brand that can build a charity. So it's that's really what it should be more about.
Brother Kevin, I feel like I just went to church.
I know.
It's great.
Preach.
I'm wondering though if part of this ideology is as how you finally got Maria's parents to accept you, because they see that you see the world in a really great light, and you were pushing her and getting her to a better place. Because we see in tonight's episode that they are not accepting you for the first year that you guys are together, which is a very long
That's a long time.
Long
yeah.
time.
Do you feel like it's because they finally saw who you were and what you were preaching to people like us into the world, that they kind of accepted you and they thought you were good for their daughter?
And how good you treated her, how much
I think
you
so.
loved her.
I think, and also it's just like anything in life, guys, consistency. I'm about like the water just hitting the rock long enough to smooth the rock over, and that takes a long time. It takes a long time. 15 years ago, I lost my film. I went bankrupt, and it was a terrible situation, and I knew I was going to hit this really bad bout, career-wise, bad bout of depression, bad bout of finances. And I said, I want to make sure I do some constructive things in this time. But it was never like trying to hit the grand slam. It was just slow and steady. So even with my relationship with Maria, it was a slow and steady build. So it was consistently in the relationship. It wasn't just opening the car door for her for a few months. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like, I think they just saw like, wait, this guy, God, he's not stopping. He's not, I made my life about her because I believed in her. And I said, the two of us, Maria, right now I bet on you. So you know what? You're the one we got to go with. And if the situation reversed and I was back in the business and I was, back in television or, working for a film company, I'd expect you to get behind me. But right now, like, you're the one. You're the one. You're the champion, and we need to. You're the quarterback, and we have to protect you. And I think they saw that over time. And it's funny because in some ways it's a backhanded compliment. It's a compliment to me and a backhand to Maria. But they say to her like, you're not smart enough to have figured all this out, Maria. There's no way in a year or two you could have done this. Like, he had to have done it.
Do you think that they didn't believe in her enough? Because she said on the show tonight, when they finally got it is when they saw me on TV. Do you think parents are just old school like that? They have to see it with their two eyes?
I think most civilians, I call anyone outside of our business is a civilian. Yeah. They don't get it. And by the way, my mind is still befuddled by even people in our business who don't get it. Okay, so like Nick Lachey's doing the big morning buzz. And no disrespect to the girl who was doing it before, was a nice girl. But I remember talking to VH1 and saying, if you want this show to work, you got to go out and get a star. That's it, bottom line. You got to get a name. Oxygen, you know what? Smart move. You got Susie Castillo. You know, you got to go out and get. But to me, does not that seem obvious? You're going against every morning show. You're going. You know, you're in a territory where you're outgunned. There's no way. How the hell is VH1 going to compete with
New York City?
Exactly. And you've got Today, you've got GMA, you've got CBS, you have HLN, you have all these other morning things that are popping up. So you know what, they go. But to me, that seems obvious. So I don't knock Maria's parents for not getting it. I knew. Once she was on Channel 1, I said, Maria, it's done. Game over. She's like, I said, Maria, you're replacing Lisa Ling, and before her was Anderson Cooper. It's a done deal. You're as talented, if not more so. That's it. We're done. Let's go. Let's hire publicists. We got shit to do. Again, I don't have time for a stupid pageant. Don't waste my time with this stuff. We have scams to pull. Let's get to work. And but to me, that seems like a no-brainer. But I don't knock the parents for not getting that. Because people in our own business who get hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars a year don't get it.
Right.
Well, in tonight's episode, Maria had mentioned that, at the end of the day, she's always a daddy's girl. We see how close she is with her parents. So for them not to talk for a year is, a huge deal.
It's terrible.
Was there ever a point during that year where you guys were kind of like, maybe we should?
You can't. You have to, again, remember I said the water hitting the rock? You guys, you have to have your resolve. And so I was like, no, do not blink. I always say, listen, guys. I even tell you guys this in meetings. You have to be convicted. If you just believe in something, I said, Maria, let me tell you something. When I'm done with you, you're going to be one of the most famous Greeks in the world. And by the way, trust me with Hollywood. It just has a way. Hollywood trumps everything. Yeah. A lot of people can make money. Very few people can make it in our business. Very few. And I see it every day with kids who have tons of money. Makes the journey a little easier. Doesn't get you in. You just can't buy your way in. It's really, really hard. I was like, Maria, trust me. Your parents love you. They don't get it, but you need to stick to the plan. You need to stay focused on you and being successful. Trust me. Once we get you where you need to be, everyone's going to come back on board and go, oh my God, and they're going to be so sorry they ever did it. And I said, now, can you have it in your heart to forgive?
Right.
That's going to be your biggest challenge. And God bless her, she did. But I said, Maria, that's your challenge. Right now, your challenge is do not look. I always tell you guys when you're running a marathon, don't look back over your shoulder. You just lost 2 seconds off the race. Forward, keep going. And that's what we did. We just kept going and going and going and going. Boom. E.T., they see her on TV. And it's like, oh my God, what are we doing? And they probably said to themselves.
So she started at ET and wasn't talking to her parents?
A little bit to mom. No, Lita, God love Lita. She was quiet communications. You know, by the way, the wives and the moms in the culture, usually, or one of them does. I shouldn't say that, because I know some mothers who go stone cold.
Sure.
And the dad has the soft spot. But those two are very similar. Costa and Maria, very similar, very stubborn.
Did you feel like you had a lot of resentment after that, though, because they didn't start talking to you guys until she did make it to a certain level?
Briefly, and you know why I didn't, and I always get emotional when I think of this, because Costas came onto our property, sees all these orange trees, this big gate, which it was a dump house, but I totally refinished it. We bought it for like $300, it was worth $900 in like a matter of a month when I was done with it. And he came onto the property and was like, oh my God. But he's pulled me aside and said, Kevin, I want to really say to you, I'm so sorry, and will you please forgive me? And when I tell you guys, I've been violated. Jesse, we talk about all the time, you and I both have been violated so many times in our lives. Only person to ever in my life ever apologize to me. And it's just like, I'm like, done. That's the big eraser. Everything's good. For an old stubborn immigrant to apologize, you guys, like he could have shown it in his actions, which he did and still does. I mean, he has done so much for us, and so has the mom. But he didn't even have to do that. He's, one or the other. But he did that. So then everything went away.
Right.
I wonder if Maria later in life, you guys, and again, it's like I have 12 years on Maria, and I always like pull out that card. But, I wonder if later in life, I don't know, like, will that bubble up in other ways?
Right.
Oh, you think?
I don't know. You never know.
She could hold it against
I don't think so, because she's not. And the dad too. They're not both them. They're very much alike, and they don't hold grudges. They're not like that. They're very happy, spirited people. Like they'd rather just think of the fun stuff. Right. Whereas I will be like, no, you can't be thinking of the fun stuff, because these people are trying to kill us. Like, it's like, come on, everyone, game faces, like, but they're like They just want to have the pig roast.
Well, you can tell how much Costas loves you,
Oh.
and that scene, I was like getting teary-eyed
I
when
know.
the two of them, when he literally felt so bad, like he was putting this pressure on you, and the thought to him of you feeling that he made you feel bad or something. He was. I mean, it was just such an emotional thing.
It was, and if obviously it's a 30-minute show, so they have to edit it down.
Sure.
But we bawled. We
I'm
both
sure.
really lost it, and that it was. And I'm sure what came out really was the 12. Was the 15 years ago. I'm sure.
So after all that you've been through, like 15 years, ups and downs with all the relationships, is it hard for you to still feel that pressure for the converting thing and Greek Orthodox?
The whole converting.
The whole
Yeah.
converting thing, you know?
So funny.
Like
you know,
you would think after 15 years, it's like, okay.
I don't know. I've been called the ultimate masochist because I don't know many people can take as much pain and suffering and torture as me, and so it's like I'm just so good at it at this point that it's like, but I also have a big picture mentality, and it's when you think about that means a lot to them.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean much to me. You know, I joke, but I'm serious when I say what means a lot to me is having a really nice screening room. And I say to Maria, if you ever fought me on that, I would kill you. But you don't. But this is so important to you guys. Fine, done. You know, but if it was important to me, it would be different. But I see a lot of couples do this where one's a Catholic and one's Jewish. And the one that isn't really into their religion all of a sudden is thrown down. And it's like, stop. Like, they're really into their religion.
Yeah.
It's important to her or him in their family, and it's not. So just concede on that, and then what's important to you. As long as your partner respects that, you're fine.
But your mother,
I know, that's
Kevin,
what I was
your
like-
mother.
That's the tough one. That's the tough one.
Yeah.
Also, the fact I completely agree with you, but I felt like your turning point was actually when Costa said, "Listen, you know what? I don't care. I don't care either way. If you don't want to do this, I love you. I'm not pressuring you." And that's when I felt like you finally said.
Well, then I was like,
"I'm
oh
gonna
God,
do
this
it."
poor guy. I just felt
Yeah.
bad. I saw him crying. I hate it when he cries because I've seen him cry about other things, and he does because he works so hard for us. Like, he tries so hard to help us, and he does. You guys know from AfterBuzz, you see the stuff he does here, and Lisa too, that because he's so my dad. I never wanted to disappoint my father, God rest his soul, and never did. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't want to disappoint him. So Mother, on the other hand, then I had that. So in the moment, I didn't want to let Costas down. Mm-hmm. But then it was like, oh boy, now I have to deal with Mother.
By the way, I think it's
Mother.
so cute that you call her Mother.
Mother. That's
My
the
dad
running
calls
joke.
his mom
Hello,
Mother,
Mother.
Like, hello, Mother.
Mother.
What
Even
happened?
in regular conversations, like, well, we're gonna see Mother.
We're gonna see Mother.
So much more dramatic.
Yeah.
I can't wait for like next weekend.
And
next
by the
week's
way,
episode.
Mother
He's
is
amazing.
Mother is the ultimate civilian.
Civilian, yes, he's
she's
told us that
she's
before.
the juxtaposition of Costa, who's traditional. My mom is a borderline feminist. She's a career woman. She, had a full scholarship to half scholarship to Harvard, and back then the family was too poor to send her, but which only gave her more angst and anger. I mean, my mom she's something, and so she
Now say something nice about her.
She doesn't care if it's, well, I think this is nice. She doesn't care if it's Maria Menounos, host of Extra, or she doesn't care. That's it. She's going to, if you get in her way, that's it. She's going to stand her ground. And
Such a Boston Catholic.
yeah. But also, Jesse, more than that, because she's independent and she's strong, and she's one of the ones who's angry with the church for what they did to a lot of the parishioners, the rules and the ridiculousness. So she's like, why bother getting married? Everyone gets divorced. Why have kids? They're just going to be jerks and leave like you did. And then she's like, and what? And religion? Are you kidding me? Do you see what the church has done? What they did to us all our lives? And they were like pedophiles and corrupt. And so no,
But how's that with Maria's parents?
Oh, it's wonderful.
I mean, I'm going through
For
it now
TV.
with my brother getting married to someone outside the Greeks. So
It's really hard.
How did the two combine? How
It's
are they?
volatile, and it still is.
Well,
Really?
It's a very unsteady alliance because she feels bad for Litsa, so she's trying to pump Litsa up to be like, hey, you know what, Costas? You wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for this lady. So you need to treat her well. You need to do, and so you wonder why I do so much for Maria. So that's my mother made us like that. We didn't have sisters, and my mother was working, so we had to do all the housework. Like I always say, I'm not only a field servant, I'm house too. I like do both because she made us do everything, and that's why I think I'm a good partner to Maria, because I was trained that way. So that's why Maria has to be nice to my mom, because she needs to be thankful to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
We've
mean?
invited, though, her parents to live in the house, and we've invited your best friend to live in the house, but we haven't invited your mother to live in the house. Never, ever, or...
Does she want that?
Yeah,
Would she
is
want
that something
that,
she
or-
would...
So Jesse, you're so smart. Yeah, my mother
Yes, smart.
is super independent. If she lived there, you know, Costas, Litsa, Joe, the reason they're great is they obey our rules. It's our house,
Yeah.
you know, and they all know that, and they respect the house. They respect our rules, and you know, like we're tyrants, but it's we're they're guests in our house. So when I go to someone else's house, I know, like, okay, I immediately scope out the house. What are the rules? How do the people like their house run? You know, whether putting the dishes away, you know, not leaving towels on the floor, whatever their deal is, I know how to do that. My mother, on the other hand, again, it's just like, no. She has her own rules. So she would definitely be harder to bring into the equation, but she also wouldn't want to be on the equation. You know, she's like, I get my own place. I have my own stuff. But she does say, if I'm sick someday, I know who I'm going to go to. Like, she'll know. She'll come to,
Right.
you know. But I also know I have to make it. She's got to have a driver, probably. Like, it's got to be. She has to be full autonomy.
Right.
Because she's no playing with mother.
Oh, at least she'll go there. Like, she knows if she gets sick and needs help,
She's got
at
us.
least
She's
that
got me.
gives you peace of mind.
She's got me. You know.
Yeah.
She's got me. Yeah.
What
Not-
happened
not
on
Maria.
that phone call, though,
Not me.
Kev? You call her. It seems like you're really gonna tell her, and then, like Maria says, a little wussy, Kev.
Okay, you know what? You know why? Because I'm looking at Maria sitting there, and I'm like, wait. You know, the Greeks put me through the ringer. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is now on me? Like,
Okay.
no, you need to step up and face this with me.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and I love
Yeah.
that you called her out on that. She says, "Okay, go ahead and
Yeah,
do it."
go,
And
you
did
go.
you hear what I said? Did you hear what I said? I said we, and I love that you guys are able to do that for each other. And it seems like she listens and goes with you from what we see.
She does. No, she does. I have a theory for. I think when you're a guy, you gotta give your wife, your girlfriend, 6 days of the week. You gotta give them the way on everything. But you do that because you have that seventh day, and it's not necessarily the one day of the week. It's the one day of the month. It might be the one day of the year where you go, no, this is what you need to do. And I'm able to 1 to 5 times a year with Maria say,
Yeah.
no, that's it. I'm drawing the line. You need to do this.
So this is your card for this
One of
purpose.
these
is
cards,
what
yeah,
you pulled it
absolutely.
for.
I said,
Yeah.
you know what? No, you need to. Sorry, like you can't just do this to me. And you know, I don't know if it came up in tonight's episode because I haven't seen tonight's episode yet. Because I'll see the 10 o'clock feed, the West Coast feed. But you know, I said something in the moment to her, or I say something where I'm like, you haven't spent more than an hour with my mother in 15 years.
Right, we see that
And
last week.
And I realized it in the argument, you know, and I'm like, and then I was like, what a revelation. Like, you know what? And
How does that make you feel, though? Like, you're so close with Maria's family, you know, and I know how you are with your family and just people.
yeah,
who
but
you're
I just,
close
you know
to.
what the joke is in my family is I'm the gay son. I'm the gay son who's like kind of, I just have the great relationship with mother. I take her shopping. I buy her nice things. But the other two, like they just don't really bother with me. And he's the weirdo and doing, you know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing. So my mother's really for my family, all I have. But for me, 15 years, like Maria's family, that is my family. And so it's different. And I think, you know, the last year I've realized that I kind of just put my foot down and said, listen, I'm going to just start doing more for my mother. And God, I've even told some of the kids here at AfterBuzz too, with parents. I think we all go through this place, and Jesse, we've had these talks too with your family, but we go through this place with our parents where we get in this tug of war. We do it in relationships too, by the way. We do it with our partners. But we get in the tug of war. I'm going to prove to you, Dad, you weren't there for me those first 18 years. And the dad's saying, F you, you're a spoiled brat. Don't blame your life's problems on me. And they engage in this lifelong tug of war that sometimes never ends, or maybe ends when they're literally on the deathbed and they cry to each other and say they love each other, whatever. And there's been a little of that with my mother because my mother wasn't a big Maria fan. So my knee jerk was to protect Maria. So for a decade or more, it's like, no, Mom, you don't understand. Maria's awesome. Maria's like done more for me than anyone else. She like has always stood by me. You know, she was with me when I was nothing. Like, no, F you. Maria's the bomb. And back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's more that fight. And the deeper the fight goes, the more it's like, okay, well, you know what? You know what? Then you just, if you don't like my decision, you don't have to be with me this Christmas. You don't have to. And it starts to go there. And I think in the last couple of years, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this lady's 7 years old. You know what I mean? Now I'm being like, I see people do this. It's like, it's so meaningless. It's stupid. And I just got away from that. And I just started bringing my mother more into our lives, more into our problems, more into our discussions, our business discussions. And I think it's made her feel more part of the family, part of the process, part of the community. And it's changed. It's brought us closer. And it's actually, and I don't want to give away too much, but her and Maria, where a reality show you think would drive a family apart, like this experience, it forced them to get together, as you'll see the next few weeks. It's very interesting.
How does Mother feel about you guys having kids? Is she as gung-ho about
No. Oh, no.
Does she care?
Kids. Why do you get kids?
Because she's just like,
She
again.
doesn't want
gonna be
kids to
jerks
come out
and
like
leave
you.
She's like, why? So they're just going to leave you anyway. And why would you bring them into this world anyway? This world's awful. Like, and just my mother's big thing is, enjoy your life, do your own thing. My dad was more like Ayenta. He was more like them. He wouldn't have been on me about the marriage, and he wouldn't have been on me about the kids, but he would be on me about other things, you know. But my mother, no, she's just be happy.
Yeah. The thing, all the other two episodes, it's like kids, and this one is being Greek. Which one has bothered you more, or sort of?
I don't even get to say stuff. That's a great question.
No, but like,
they just
which
throw
one,
so
the
much
kids
at me.
The kids or the
no,
converting?
the kids bother me.
Okay.
Way more.
It seemed
because
like
because
it's
guys
ongoing.
It seemed
and
like
it's a baby.
Right.
It's
another
human
baby.
It's a life. That's why I get these people on
18
Twitter
years.
who attack me about this, and I'm like,
Really?
I'm like, guys. It is a baby. It's a human being. If I don't think I can be the most amazing mother and father, because let's face it, I'm gonna have to be both, then I don't want to do it. And by the way, I would be amazing at it, but then am I gonna harbor that resentment? And I'm sorry, you guys, it will come out. It'll come out with Maria. It'll come out with her parents, or it'll come out, God forbid, with the poor baby.
Right.
So these are the things that absolutely you have to think about.
It's like crazy. Like the fact that you've thought about it as much as you do.
I'm older.
Okay.
Told you, been here longer.
Well, yeah, and you've got the Greeks,
Right.
Greeks who won't let you stop. Right, but you'd probably be an amazing parent.
Amazing.
Like these are the kind of people that should have children in this world. You know,
know.
it's like you have
But he
people who
has
don't.
all
But by the way,
I
listen,
know, it's
honestly,
true.
Susie, you don't know. Like, I'm looking at this
has
table.
all our children.
These
Sure.
four, by the way, and it's not coincidence. That's why they're doing this show. These four, to me, I don't want to embarrass them, but they're like my kids, and
That would never be embarrassing, Kevin.
and and it's like, and their
To have a
problem,
dad
and
like
their
that.
problems
He's
are my
amazing.
problems here. Because I know what it's like to be in my early 20s here in a loveless city of shitty people, not have money, not have your career bankrolled. It sucks. I've been on the couches. I've been eating in supermarkets. I've been out here starving. I had to go home so many times. I had to move home in shame to go back to being a carny, to make enough money to come back. So, like, I see so much of that here, and these kids need me. And the minute... these two clowns in the booth. Well, one's a clown and one's not. Phil's not. The other one's a but they, you know what I mean? But they, and it's like, and I do, and I think of Phil too, because it's like, everyone takes this stuff for granted, but it's like, the minute I have a kid, like, that's it. There's no way I'm gonna be able to be present for all the other people that need me right now.
Well, I knew
Done.
you
We need you.
See? So help me out. And I do,
Yeah.
and I do get resentful. And you saw that like temper tantrum kind of in the car, the first episode, because I'm like, wait, I meant it. If we listen to everyone else, if we listen to Costa, you'd be working at a pizza place for some like Greek husband in Massachusetts right now. And if I listen to people who said, oh, why are you going to Hollywood? You're never going to make it. You're going to be in your 50s and have no health insurance and no benefits, and you're going to be broke, and all the crap that I heard. And I did. You need to get a job with benefits. You need this. You need to get married. I ignored all of everyone else's advice, and I took the road less traveled, and it worked for me. Why now should I all of a sudden go against what I know is not the right thing to do right now.
Kevin, I knew you were going to give the answer you did because you're such a selfless person and your religion affects you and having a child affects somebody else. And that's why it doesn't bother you as much that they are attacking you about something that would only affect
right there.
you. No, but I'm serious because you always are trying to give. And if you bring another human being into this world, not only do you have to give everything to that human, but then you also have to take away what you're giving from other people because there are so many hours in a day. Yeah. So I do wonder though, Kev, is there going to be a time where you do think you want to make that step, or do you think that you would be perfectly happy 30 years from now looking back saying, I never had children, but these were my kids?
I don't know.
It's too hard of a question.
I don't know, but I do know that, if I could just have a little more time, I'd be fine. I'll bite
a week?
Oh my God.
He just said bite the bullet.
You say about the whole going back and forth with the family members and all that, and I mean, being Greek, I know how.
Jesse.
I always joke about this, but to me, grandparents in Greek is nag. Like, it's just the word. It's not really. But so in the sense of that, do you kind of think like, I mean, I know my family, like, they're very involved. Did you do this today? Did you do this today? Did you do that? And it's the same thing over and over, and it's repetitive.
That's
and
a Jewish thing too, just so you know.
Do you feel like that is kind of what also holds you back from wanting to have
No, because they'll be phenomenal. They don't do that. They're not. The most he's going to say is marry kids. They're great because they see that we have a lot of great. We do that. We do that with them, with their health, their diet. Like, we're all up in their faces about stuff. And I believe that. I've always told Maria, when you hit your 20s, if you guys too, it's where you guys need to start becoming parents to your parents. It's just it's the rightful transition. So for everything else, you guys, we're their parents. We take care of them, their bills, everything. They don't worry about anything. But this would be the only thing. But when it comes to that part with us, and this speaks to any ethnic family, what you're getting is the most amazing grandparents and parents. And in those super ethnic cultures, you're really getting a second mom and dad. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we would have that. We would have a second mom and dad, which would be phenomenal. But, even Costa's like, but my brothers are getting old. Because Maria says that to me. Listen, we'll have it. If you're going to be here 12 months a year to help us, we'll do it. And he's like, well, no, you need to have it. Yeah. But I have my four brothers who I'm super close to. They're all 70s and 80s now, And he's like, I can't be away from them year round.
Well, in terms of having kids, you say you don't know yet about when you'll be ready. But these past couple episodes, we've seen Maria kind of pressure you to get tested and all that kind of thing. Where does that come into play with thinking long term? Like, well, what if it can't happen?
I get just upset because I feel like I'm being manipulated into something that. And again, I am a masochist, I am a pushover, but I'm still not a one that's. If you try to manipulate me against something I don't want to do, that's kind of where I draw the line, and
that affects other people.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. And it's going to affect us. I got it. Let's give you some more Hollywood advice, Susie. But my job is to protect Maria. And Susie, you're a little bit younger. You've already probably felt a little bit how hard it is out here, in the business. And to be a young woman in this business, you guys, and I tell these kids all the time, if you're not willing to sleep with someone to make it, and if you're not willing to cut someone's throat to make it, it's going to be even harder than it already is.
Sure.
So this business is so effing hard that one of the reasons why we've been successful is because I'm absolutely fearless. I don't like to fight. I like to create. These guys know that. I don't like to destroy. I love to create. I don't get energy from fighting. But if you fight with me, you can win if you're willing to die or go to jail. That's always what I say. Mm-hmm. So whether it's been a studio executive or whatever, it's like I'm a great partner to all of them. They've all been very successful with Maria. But if you're going to play the head games and terrorize her and do all the things they do to women in this business, and I could name the names that I physically see the women on TV, 10 years or 15 years on TV, I can see it on their faces, how drawn out, how tired they are, how beaten they are by this cruel business. But one of the reasons why, I've been able to protect Maria is because I don't have kids, because I have absolutely no fear. I always say I have enough money to have a nice 2-bedroom house paid for, and we can have a comfortable life till we're 90 with a little retirement, we would be fine with a really conservative lifestyle, because I'm not an extravagant person. Maria maybe is a little more, but I'm not at all. And by design, I have a 7-year-old pickup I drive. I've got Timberland boots on right now. But I do all that by design, and I don't have kids for that same reason, because I am fearless in this business. There's nothing you can do to scare me in this business. I don't care. Take the house, big deal. Take the 2 estates, take them. I don't care. I'm going to go just get another one. I'll make that place pimp. I'll rebuild myself. I'll be right back in the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, but if I have children, now I'm vulnerable.
Sure.
Now I say, oh, geez, I'm thinking of his or her college. I'm thinking of his or her. And by the way, you're in LA. They've got a good private school. For most of the school systems aren't very good. And so now, again, I'm vulnerable. I can't protect Maria like I normally do, and I've never admitted that to anybody.
Yeah.
And that just goes over most people's heads, civilians' heads. But maybe, Susie, you understand, maybe because you see how hard the business is.
It's funny, and Matt, you've never met my husband Matt, but he's also from Massachusetts, and he and I have been together for 15 years as well. And I told Matt earlier today, I'm like, I want you to come, especially now, because Kevin's going to be there. I'm like, you have to meet Kevin. He's a writer. You're a writer, and you guys have lived. I've literally moved this man across the country 4 times. You know what I mean? And he always says, he's like, I just want you to be happy, and I want and. Because I ask him all the time, because I feel bad, I'm like, you haven't been able to really have the career
see, Maria doesn't ask, so that's the difference between you two.
What's that?
Maria doesn't ask.
Maria doesn't ask.
That's the difference.
Oh, well, sometimes I feel guilty of that, and not anymore, because he tells me all the time. He's like, listen, from when you were a child, you've always been very ambitious and this go-getter, and when people told you would never win Miss USA, you laughed in their face and said, you're going to be really bummed when you're not there to see me win. I literally had an uncle who was like, I'm not going to spend $65 for the Miss Massachusetts USA pageant, because he's like, you're not going to win that thing. And I was like, oh, I was like, watch me.
That's right.
So, Matt's like, that was always your thing, and I'm happy to support you and to help your. And he always says that, he's like, my time will come.
That's
but
right.
for
and
me, I want to support you.
You got to go with the top dog. Like right now, you're hot. You got to ride that horse.
Yeah, he's funny, but he's here, so you'll get to meet him.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
But again, do you guys? Does he feel the same way with children? I think there's a little vulnerability there that I don't want to have.
Right. We talk about it a lot, and there's just a lot that we want to do. We feel like we've only scratched the surface of, what we want to do in life, and it is a huge decision. And you're absolutely right. It's like LA public schools suck. So yeah,
you have to think
it's
all
private
those
school,
things.
and private schools are like what, $30,000 a year or something for like preschool. It's ridiculous.
And there's the wait list.
But again, when go back to what we talked about at the beginning.
Yeah.
I know it was talking career, but when you diversify your career. As we have, we've best-selling books, we have AfterBuzz, we have other networks, digital networks here, and we're very close to that time. Not quite, but we're close to that time where we're gonna be able to say, doesn't matter. Now I can have the kids, and I'm not gonna have to worry if she gets fired or if they play head games over her contract or piss off. But right now I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
So when I get there, then it's okay with the child. But right now I like my edge. I like the idea that I think there was somebody a year ago, a crazy, I think a lighting guy or a sound guy there was a cockroach on the set. Maria started she shrieked, and he was one of these passive, more aggressive men that I could tell hated women and hated beautiful women, which again, Susie, I'm sure, and Stephanie and Jess and Roxy, you're a baby, so you probably haven't experienced this yet, but you get that with this in this business. And he saw that it freaked her out, so he put the cockroach peach paper and he chased her with it. She freaked out so bad, she ended up falling in the street, hit her head on the ground. One of the C-stands came down, hit her on the head, and if it wasn't for what I heard with the president of Warner Brothers, who's not there anymore, Andy Rosenblum, who saw the tape and was like, are you kidding me? Get this guy out of here. But even Maria was like, oh, I feel bad. Like, he lost his job. And they were like, yeah, well, thanks to you, kind of. And so just so you know, because I don't have kids, I said, okay, you know what? I'm not so crazy. I'm going to spend $2,000 or $3,000 on a ticket to go to New York right now. But guess what? When I go to New York, don't worry. I will grab him. I'll grab him either by his ear or by his throat. And I'll do what I normally do with these guys, You know, and
what we have Joe for.
And I don't normally, you know, but I don't like, you know, you're right, we do have Joe for that. And when you bring Joe, it's great because it never goes to that, because they see him and they just get petrified.
Sure.
But I said, no, I'm handling this. You know, you fucking touch my girl. Are you fucking out of your, you know what I mean? I was like, all right, now I'm going to make you squeal. But again, if I have a baby, you guys, you know, daddy can't be in jail.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm like, fine, go bail me out. I'm good. Like, it's not the first time. Like, whatever. But if I have
be
children,
irresponsible.
you can't do that.
Right.
I feel like I'm going to lose my superpowers. And that just sounds so strange, I know, but
Well, you've
I've
said it
seen-
before.
yeah.
You said something will have to give, and I think it's really admirable that you can stand up and say, "I'm not ready to give that yet."
not
So,
ready, no.
I mean, everyone has that choice.
We have a theory here on the show.
Okay, what is that?
Last week we discussed the fact that you guys subconsciously want kids because you're not taking preventative measures.
Oh, maybe.
It'll happen when the time is right.
Right. You know, so Maria being on birth control, I started to feel guilty because I feel like any chemical you're putting in your body, it's just over time is not healthy. And then when it came to, and then just being a guy, like, just feels a lot better to, you know, to just let it ride. And then I was kind of let it ride.
Let it ride.
And then let it ride, and then I was always like, hey, and then because of all the pressure, I'm like, well, if it happens, it happens. I'll handle it like I always do. And so that's kind of been, but we have shifted back and forth on this. You'll see it through the series. I don't know if, and when you get Maria in here, you'll ask her yourself, but the way the series ends and how Maria feels now is probably not even the same, to the point that Oxygen and the producers would get so frustrated with us because they'd be like, wait, you said you wanted this and he said he wanted that, and now you're saying
We gotta edit.
yeah, because we keep changing our minds because we don't know.
Right.
I'll have to tune in.
Because
and
that's
see.
how
I
life
mean,
works.
Susie, come on, you kind of don't know either. Like, I think it's, we don't know.
No.
Well, it's reality TV, and that's
You don't know right now. You don't have an answer for us.
It's a hard decision, and I commend you guys for doing it all in front of
In front
cameras
of everyone.
for us to enjoy.
Well, it's the
talk
only
about.
way.
Talk about.
The advice is to anyone who does a reality show is it's the only way it will work is to just be real, and then you have to have a company that will get behind that. A lot of times they go, no, we've been doing this a long time, we know what we're doing. Okay, so Susie, you're going to tell Matt that you want him to quit writing, and it just, I feel like there was a period where it worked, but the public's over it. The Osbournes were successful because they were real. They just unfortunately had to run 100 hours of camera tape to get that. And then the budgets have shrunk on these. And but I said to them from the beginning, like, guys, I'm not just an executive producer in name only. I'm your partner on this, and I want this to be successful. And the only way I know it can be successful is if it's to be real and raw. And you're gonna have to take a little bit more time than the 2 months you thought you could get this, which should end up being 6 or 7 because of that. But I promise you will get the real, and fans will know.
Viewers can tell.
And
Right.
I
But
said,
with the first episode, you could tell.
Yeah.
well, I appreciate that, because you never know what people are going to think. But I said, listen, we're taking all the risk here. I'm not saying to you, only shoot Maria makeup, only shoot Maria's left side. I'm not saying that. I was fighting with them to get the real. You're going to see this one major blowout we have about money. This very studio we're in the middle of a renovation. Our business managers knew we were doing it. We're in the middle of the renovation, and Phil comes up to me, why does it go? He goes, Kevin, Lois, our business manager, shut off funds. And I said, what do you mean? And like in front of everybody, mind you, like the whole staff is here, and the studio's not finished, and Phil's got this place booked out already for multiple shows. I was like seeing red, and I drove home, and one of the producers was like, okay, so how about you and Costas, like, you gonna do some gardening today? Why don't you get in there and garden? Just kind of I said, listen, dude, this is what's gonna happen right now. She's in the gym, I'm going in the gym right now, and I said, I can't be phony. I'm not a phony person. So whatever, however you want me to talk, I can't even talk to Costa right now because I'm seeing effing red. And I said, I'm going in there. I said, if you want to call this a reality show, you take those cameras and follow me right the F now.
I was with you, Kev.
Right, and we did, and you'll see the blowout over.
Amazing.
So anyway,
I cannot wait for that.
Wait for that.
Awesome. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
thank you for doing it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susie, for doing this for us.
Kevin Undergaro,
We
everybody.
love you at AfterBuzz.
You're very. I'm here every Tuesday night. I'm so
know.
excited. I'm so excited.
And shout out
Thanks,
to,
guys.
wait, before we leave, shout out to everybody at home. Remember, we have a contest going on.
Yep.
So what we need you guys to do is to upload a video of yourself, #ChasingMaria, and we need you to say, I love AfterBuzz TV, and give us your funniest laugh. Whatever it is, I love AfterBuzz TV, and #ChasingMaria.
Cool. Well, that's all she wrote, you guys. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you.
Wait, where do we
next
find
week.
everybody?
Oh,
Tell everybody
hello.
where they can find you on Twitter.
Absolutely. It's very simple. It's at Susie Castillo is my handle.
And let's go around the board. Everyone
Yeah.
else.
Steph Bauer TV.
At Jessica King. Oh, wait. At I am Jessica King.
At DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Roxy Stryer.
And Kev.
At Undergaro.
And
There we
Undergaro. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
From executive producers
The views
Maria
expressed herein are
Menounos,
those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.